Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning all about Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell truth from fiction. Consider this. Many places get their names based on what people found there. For example, the Boulder Field in Hickory Run State Park got its name because it's exactly what it sounds like, a field full of big rocks. So, it would stand to reason that Mammoth Cave earned its famous name because early explorers discovered the remains of woolly mammoths inside the limestone chambers. What do you think? Is this an actual fact? Were any woolly mammoths discovered in the caves? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is troglobite. That's troglobite. A troglobite is an animal that lives entirely in the dark zones of caves and is physically adapted to survive exclusively in that environment. These creatures can't survive outside of a cave system. They often lack pigmentation, making them appear white or translucent, and they have no functioning eyes. Instead, they rely on developed sensory organs like elongated antennae or specialized nerve endings to navigate and find food in the dark. The word troglobite comes from Greek, combining the prefix troglo, which translates to hole or cave, and the suffix bite, which is derived from bios, meaning life. So it would literally mean cave life. Scientists categorize cave-dwelling organisms into three groups, with troglobites being the most specialized. The other two categories are troglophiles, which can live in or out of caves, and troglozenes, which use caves for shelter but have to leave to find food. Mammoth Cave is home to some unique troglobites that haven't been found anywhere else on Earth. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about Mammoth Cave. Number 1. Mammoth Cave is by far the longest known cave system in the world. As of the time of this recording, geologists and explorers have mapped over 426 miles of interconnected passageways within the Mammoth Cave system. To put that in perspective, it's longer than the drive from Chicago, Illinois to St. Louis, Missouri. The second longest cave in the world, the Saskatoon system in Mexico, is barely more than half as long as Mammoth. A Saskatoon has been measured at 235 miles long. As time goes on, explorers continue to go deeper into Mammoth Cave, surveying the system and adding miles to its official length. The cave system formed over millions of years through a process called speleogenesis. Rainwater absorbed carbon dioxide from the soil, creating a weak carbonic acid. This acidic groundwater seeped through cracks in the earth and slowly dissolved the limestone bedrock beneath the surface. The Green River, which flows through the park, acts as a natural drain and guides the formation of the cave. As the river carves deeper into the valley, the water table drops, leaving behind the dry, upper-level cave passages we see today. Number 2. A teenager named Stephen Bishop was one of the greatest early explorers to map the cave. In 1838, Franklin Gorin purchased Mammoth Cave and brought a 17-year-old enslaved man named Stephen Bishop to work as a guide. Bishop quickly learned the known routes and began pushing beyond the boundaries of previous explorations. He crossed a deep pit called the Bottomless Pit using a simple wooden ladder. This crossing opened up miles of previously unmapped territory within the system. Following this path, Bishop discovered an underground river that he named the Echo River. Bishop navigated these passages with nothing more than a lantern fueled by lard. In 1842, he drew a detailed map of the cave system from memory. His map documented miles of twisting passages and remained the standard reference for Mammoth Cave for over 40 years. Geologists and cartographers have praised Bishop's map for its high degree of accuracy. His legacy lives on at the park as modern guides recount his contributions to cave science and exploration. And on the topic of early explorers, archaeologists have discovered evidence that Native Americans ventured deep into the dark zones of the cave system more than 4,000 years ago. The constant temperature and low humidity in certain upper passages created an optimal environment for preservation, and so they've found perfectly intact artifacts including woven grass slippers, gourd bowls, and discarded torch remnants. Number 3. The underground rivers of Mammoth Cave are home to a species of fish born without eyes. The Kentucky cave shrimp and eyeless cavefish are two aquatic residents of the Mammoth Cave system. The eyeless cavefish evolved to survive in an environment completely devoid of sunlight. Because eyes require energy to develop and maintain, the species adapted by losing them. These translucent fish navigate using a highly developed lateral line system. They have a network of sensory organs that detect microscopic changes in water pressure. This system allows the eyeless cavefish to sense the movement of small prey in darkness. Of course, extreme environments aren't for everyone. Food can be scarce in this habitat, so the fish developed a slow metabolism which helps them survive. They can go months without eating and live much longer than similar surface-dwelling fish species. Some researchers estimate their lifespan can be over 40 years. They study these fish to understand evolutionary biology and energy conservation in isolated environments. But they're not the only unique creatures in Mammoth Cave. In total, researchers have identified 49 species of cave-limited fauna within the park, and 7 of those species are entirely endemic to the Mammoth Cave system. These endemic species include the Kentucky cave shrimp, a pseudoscorpion, and 5 species of beetles. They all have similar adaptations like pigment loss and enhanced sensory appendages. Since these creatures can't survive outside the cave, their existence depends on the health of the subterranean ecosystem. The National Park Service protects them by strictly monitoring the water quality of the Green River. They also enforce biosecurity protocols to prevent contamination and disease from entering the delicate habitat. Number 4. Dirt from the Mammoth Cave actually played a critical role in the U.S. military during the War of 1812. In the early 19th century, the U.S. found itself cut off from international supplies of gunpowder due to British blockades. Gunpowder requires a key ingredient called saltpeter or potassium nitrate. Miners discovered that dirt inside Mammoth Cave had high concentrations of calcium nitrate. Workers hauled tons of cave dirt to wooden leaching vats. They poured water over the dirt and extracted the nitrates. This extracted liquid was pumped to the surface through a pipeline of hollowed-out tulip poplar logs. Once it got to the surface, the liquid was boiled and combined with wood ashes to produce saltpeter. This saltpeter was then shipped to factories in Philadelphia to be manufactured into gunpowder. The Mammoth Cave mining operation produced hundreds of thousands of pounds of saltpeter during the war. Visitors can still see the preserved wooden pipes and leaching vats inside the cave today. And our 5th and final fun fact for today: visitors of Mammoth Cave might say the cave breathes as they feel a strong, continuous wind coming from the mouth of the cave. The cave system contains a massive volume of air that actually interacts with the outside atmosphere in interesting ways. All throughout the year, the cave system stays at a pretty constant 54 degrees Fahrenheit. During the summer, the 54-degree air inside the cave is more dense and heavier than the hot air above the ground. This heavy, cold air rushes out of the entrance and flows down the hillside, creating a natural air conditioning effect for anyone standing nearby. Because the cave system is so immense, this rush of air can cause some pretty big gusts of wind, reaching speeds of up to 15 miles an hour. In the winter, the process reverses itself due to the shift in surface temperatures. When the air outside drops below 54 degrees, the relatively warmer, lighter air inside the cave rises and escapes through higher elevation sinkholes. This upward movement creates a vacuum effect at the main entrance, pulling colder surface air deep into the passageways. Geologists actually track these barometric wind patterns to locate new, undiscovered entrances to the cave system. Now for some news you can use. If you're planning a trip to explore the Mammoth Cave, it's a good idea to dress in layers. Always bring a light jacket or sweater, regardless of the weather conditions above the ground. The interior of Mammoth Cave maintains a constant temperature of 54 degrees Fahrenheit or 12 degrees Celsius all throughout the year. While the outside temperature in Kentucky can reach well over 90 degrees in the middle of July, the underground passages are going to remain relatively cool. A light layer will keep you comfortable during a 2 or 3 hours that you'll typically spend on a walking tour. Also, be sure to wear closed-toed shoes and something with good traction. The cave floors can be uneven and wet, making them a hazard for both tripping and slipping. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked, did Mammoth Cave get its name because explorers found woolly mammoth remains inside? This is a common misconception, but it is a fallacy. Mammoth Cave has never been shown to have any mammoth fossils. The cave earned the name Mammoth purely because of the immense size of its chambers and avenues. In the early 1800s, the word mammoth was just frequently used as an adjective to describe anything of large proportions. While you won't find any woolly mammoths, paleontologists have recently discovered some interesting fossils. Specifically, they found multiple species of ancient fossilized sharks embedded in the cave's limestone walls. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about Mammoth Cave National Park with me today, and be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.